Hometown Health Show, brought to you by Triology Home Healthcare, the industry leader with over 30 years of experience in providing home healthcare services such as skilled nursing, physical and occupational therapy, home health aides, and other specialized care to your homes throughout the state. Please tune in every other week as we bring you a range of good information from specialists in the field to help make you more informed and living healthy.
So, Dr. Fernandez, if you can hear me, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and your practice?
Well, my name is Eduardo Fernandez. I'm a radiation oncologist. I'm originally from Spain. I immigrated to the U.S. in 1992. I was trained at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation up in Ohio in radiation oncology. And when I finished, I moved to Florida. That is 1997. And I joined my group, and I've been one of the medical directors since then. I practice radiation oncology in Broward and Dade counties, and I have a national role with the company.
That's great. Dr. Pachter, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. So please tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so my name is Dr. Eric Pachter. I'm originally from New York. I trained in New York and in Brooklyn, and I immigrated to Florida in 1998, and I've been here since then. I practice primarily and mostly in Pembroke Pines, and I practice general urology, anything from voiding dysfunction and erectile dysfunction, and of course stones, and of course dealing with urologic cancers, and specifically prostate cancers, which is primarily where my relationship with radiation oncologists and such as Dr. Fernandez comes about. And although I'm part of 21st Century Oncology, which is a big organization in Genesis Care, I have my own office where it's just me and my staff, no PA, so when patients come to see me, they're always going to see the doctor.
That's great. I know patients love to stay with one doctor, so that's fantastic. Can you tell our listeners what insurance you take and your hours of your practice and any specialty services you provide if you've missed any?
Well, for me, we take most insurances. There's a long list of them. Some of them that we don't take are things like Care Plus and WellCare, things like that. But we do have a wide range of insurance that we take, including a certain Affordable Care Act, such as Blue Cross and Ambetter Sunshine. My hours of office are Monday through Friday, and the phones are open from 9 to 5. We start seeing patients at 8:30 most days. And on Fridays, we see patients half days. Friday afternoons, I give the office staff time to catch up on their paperwork.
Okay, great. So we have a little bit of a limited...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
In our case, in radiation oncology, we take almost all the insurances, including Care Plus, for Broward, not in Dade County. But our office hours are from 8 in the morning until 5, what I would define as clinic hours, meaning by that when we see patients in consultation and in follow-up. But there is also a machine schedule when the patients are being treated. They will start the treatments at 8 in the morning, and we finish when the last patient is being treated. So it depends on the volume. It can be 5, it can be 7:30 in the afternoon.
Okay. So if you could please, we have a limited amount of time, so I'm going to throw this question over to Dr. Pachter. Now, if you could, with the current global pandemic and everything that you're experiencing with the way you're seeing and treating patients, can you tell our listeners how you have adapted to these changes?
Sure. So we first of all, we do a limited number of patients that we see in the office at a time, so it doesn't get overwhelmingly crowded, of course. We do temperature checks. Of course, everyone, staff and patients, must wear masks when they're there. Of course, we have signs up for distancing, and we make sure the patients and their family is distanced. And we also limit the number of family members, really only one family member per patient. When a patient comes in, we also make sure that they're not sitting in the waiting room. We just check them in, and we bring them right into the exam room where they can do all their paperwork, where they can then wait for us. And also for the patients who are not comfortable for coming in, we do offer telehealth medicine conferences as well.
Perfect. How, Dr. Fernandez, if you could tell us how your two specialties work together.
Well, as you know, Dr. Pachter identifies patients with urological malignancies that the vast majority are prostate cancer patients, and depending on the pre-treatment characteristics of the tumor, PSA, stage, etc., the patient is offered the choice between surgery or radiation therapy. So usually the patients that can get either or are seen by both of us. We tell them the pros and the cons, etc., and we let the patient to decide. Also, when we treat patients with radiation for prostate cancer, we need the help of the urologist to place small fiducial markers on the prostate so we can identify that better at the time of the treatment. And also there is a new technique called OAR, that is the placement of a gel spacer between the rectum and the prostate. So in doing that, there is a separation between both organs. So when we treat the prostate, almost no radiation is given to the rectum, so the side effects are much less.
That sounds great.
And in addition, if I can add that, we also have very good communication between the two services, two specialties. So, for example, Dr. Fernandez and myself, when we do have a patient that we're treating together, we very commonly call each other or communicate by text, so we're both on the same page.
That sounds like great teamwork. We're going to add to that if either of you can explain how you work with Triology. If you can choose or explain a scenario that you've had in the past.
Well, I mean, basically they are an extension for us, and they provide home care. They see the patients at home, assess their needs locally, depending on the performance status. And it's very convenient for us, and it's very convenient for the patients.
Right. It sounds like a lot of great teamwork.
Yeah, and they were talking about communication, which communication is very key. So communication between the office and the home care, the nurses communicate with the doctors, and so that's very important as well.
Finally, as we're wrapping up, I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. Doctors, if you can explain or let us know how we can get a hold of you. Your best numbers or best mode of contact?
Well, for me, Dr. Pachter, you can reach me at 954-704-3900. That's my office.
And for us, 954-370-7555.
Thank you both. I hope you have a great evening. Thank you, Liza. And thank you to Triology for joining us. Thank you, our listeners. And I hope you all have a great evening.
Thank you, doctors, and thank you, Yolanda.
Bye.
Triology Home Healthcare invites you to call our offices before making a decision about your home health and rehabilitative care. Different from other agencies, Triology offers specialized service that other agencies don't, providing exceptional care. That's who we are and what we do. Call us at 866-599-4959 or go to trilogyhomehealthcare.com.